Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Manisha Gupta and I am assistant professor at Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology in MBA department. In the last lecture, we are discussing about the attitude scaling techniques. We have done the basics of the attitude, basics of the your scaling and measurement, and in this lecture we will going to briefly discuss the what is attitude scaling techniques and what were their important. So, this will be your table of content. In this lecture we are going to deal with scaling, attitude measurement and the attitude scaling techniques and their bifurcations. So, we start with the scaling. In the last lecture we have done talk about the measurement and measurement scaling, and in the last lecture we have discussed about the nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale and ratio scale. But in this lecture we start with the scaling. So, what is the basic scaling? We all understand about the what is the measurement, because when we do the qualitative research, in those type of the research it is important to convert your variable in a numeric term. So, that is your measurement. So, what is the scaling? The scaling is the assignment of the object to the number or the semantic according to the rule, and in the scaling the object are a text statement, usually the statement of the attitudes, opinions and feeling. So, scaling technique is basically the extension of your measurement, and what we have done in measurement, we assign the numbers to the qualitative variables, and it involves creating a continuum on which the measurement on the object can be located. So, it provides you the certain sequence for your options. The scale is a quantified measure, a combination of the items that is progressively arranged according to the value or magnitude. It may have certain higher end, means extreme value, like we deal in the next that when we talk about the types of the scaling, then you will see the number of the scale in which one pole is a very extreme, you are highly satisfied, it may be the another pole will be highly dissatisfied. So, there is a particular continuum or the sequence of the responses. So, these type of the responses which depend upon the type of the questions, type of the question is, type of the research study. So, there is the, and it is called as scale. So, you may have the number of the type of the scale. So, you have to choose the proper scaling techniques for your study. Then it is basically the procedure for assignment of the numbers or the other symbols of the property object in order to impact some of the characteristics of the numbers to the properties of question, and scaling is the assignment of the object number according to the rules. There may be the certain rules according to which we assign numbers. Then what is basically attitude? And if we talk about the business research, if we talk about the customer satisfaction or the employee satisfaction, so these are kind of your attitude. So, the researchers especially in the business study are more interested in your people's attitude, because why we have to study the attitude of the people? If you talk about the market research, then you have to understand how your customer is thinking, what is their attitude. So, this study of the attitude and the measurement of the attitude is important for the business. Then an attitude is basically the psychological construct, and if a person is predisposition to the response favorably or unfavorably, attitude is basically, it may be you are agreed or disagreed, your reaction is a favorable or unfavorable. So, this is basically a response favorably or unfavorably to the activities. If we talk about the research in the HR fields, in the employee relation, then the activities of the management, on the activities of the management, the employee's attitude may be favorable or not favorable, they may be like it or dislike it, and you can also rate the people, events and objects. If you talk about the product, then the customer attitude may be positive or negative. He may like your product or he may dislike your product, and it also impact on the event. If there is a certain type of the event is happening, then employee can respond to those event. If you talk about in the market, if there is a certain type of the event like the Jio is coming in the market, so by the entrance of the Jio in the telecom industry, that was a very big event in your telecom industry, and because of that the fears in the telecom industry is very lower. So for that type of the event, what is the customer is thinking, what is their attitude? And attitude basically have the three component. First is your affective component. So what is affective component? It basically deals with the person's feelings and emotions, like on the every event and on the every object or the activities, how the people are feeling. So the first component of the your attitude is affective component, which deals with the how the people are the feel or what is their emotion on the particular event. Then the other factor is your cognitive factor, which deals with the person awareness and knowledge, means how much people are aware and they have a knowledge about those product and the services or the event. Then the third component is behavior. The behavior is which deal with the person's actions, means how the people are going to react towards that event or action or object. So if you see these event, effective components show that how the people are the feeling, what is their emotions, what is their feeling, they are feeling positively or negatively. Then cognitive component deal with the their knowledge and awareness, how much they are aware, how much they pursue the knowledge. And the third part is your behavior, means how the people are reacting. So people react on the basis of these two elements, how they feel and how much they have a knowledge. So these all three component is conclude to your attitude. These three component lead to show that the what is the people's attitude and how they behave. We have seen it, the components affective, feeling and your opinion, feeling, then cognitive, knowledge, then behavior is your action. So these were the three important components of your attitude. Now you understand the attitude. Now we are going to study the attitude measurement. First of all, it is important to understand the what is attitude, then we can measure it. So in this topic we are going to understand what is attitude measurement in the business, because if you see, the attitude is not a quantitative data, because quantitative data is easy to measure. If you talk about the income, it is easy to measure, but when we talk about the attitude, whatever, if you collect the data on the basis of the attitude of the people, that will be your qualitative data. So the qualitative data is difficult to measure, because if you talk about the feelings, how the person is feeling, how they are reacting, how much they like it or dislike it, so it is important to understand how you can measure the attitude. So researchers have developed the various attitude scaling to measure the intensity of the attitude there, and in that those they try to measure the affective, cognitive and behavior component. You conduct a research to understand the how much customer has a knowledge. You conduct the research to understand the what the customer is feeling, and you can also conduct the research to understand the how they are going to react. Suppose if you want to increase your product prices, you will conduct a test market, to conduct the research to understand if the price is going to rise, will my customer is going to purchase my product or not. So these type of the data were collected, and they are collected by the different rating scale. Researchers has developed the number of the rating scale, because if you see that there is a number of the factor which we have to understand, and we have to collect the data of it. So there may be the different rating scale for that, and these scale may require response to rank. What we do in our attitude measurement scale, we rank the responses or we rate the responses, we sort it, or choose whether we access an attitude or not. So, in the attitude measurement, you can rank the choices of the customer, you can sort it, you can rate it, and you can give them preference to understand it. So, attitude are the person's general evaluation of the something, and attitude is important for the following reason. Why it is important to study the attitude? Because of the following reason. First is because attitude helps to explain how ready one is to do something. Means if you are going to launch a product, then how ready your customer is to purchase your product. So, for that you have to understand the attitude of the customer. Then attitude do not change much over the time. There is a certain basic attitude in the employees which does not change. If we talk about in the research related to the human resource, if any employee is lazy, then that laziness and their attitude is take time to change. Next, attitude produces the consistency in behavior, and it is also show that how consistent is our behavior. If we talk about the performance appraisal, you will see that the performance appraisal is how the employee is performing properly and what is their appraisal and how they are performing. Are they performing properly? Are they giving the constant output throughout the year, or there is some high or low point in their performance? And attitude can be related to the preferences. If you give the customer the 5 brands, you can ask them what is the most preferred brand to them. So, these were the important reasons to study the attitude measurement. So, these are the basically type of your scaling technique. The primary scaling technique, we have already completed the primary scaling technique, and those scaling technique were your nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and your ratio scale. But there is certain other type of the scaling techniques also, which are your comparative scale and non-comparative scale, and these comparative and non-comparative scale is further divided, and it is further divided into comparative scale is divided into your paired comparison and rank order, constant sum, and Q-sort scaling technique. And when we talk about the non-comparative scale, it is further divided into 2: continuous rating scale and itemized rating scale. Sorry. And again, the itemized rating scale is further divided into the semantic, staple, and Likert scale. So, these were the other scaling technique which we are going to study in our classes. So, first of all, we are going to understand what is the comparative scale. Comparative scaling, the response is asked to compare one object with the other. Means, suppose you talk about the product brand, you want to understand that what product customer prefers over the other. Take an example of your cold drink industry. We know the two are the very prominent brand, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So, you can compare that what brand is customer preferring more. And if you talk about the clothing industry, number of the brands, like there is a different segment in the male clothing, then there is a different segment in the female clothing. Then you talk about the watches, there is a different brands like your Titan, homemade inner brands. Then there is a foreign brands like your Rado, then Fossil. So, you want to know that the whatever the brand is customer is preferring the most. So, here you are going to study about the comparison between those brand. So, when you talk about the comparative scaling technique, then there is always the comparison between one object or the one thing to the other object, or the one variable with the other variables. Then we talk about the non-comparative scale. In the comparative scale, you understand that there is a 2 brand, 2 product, and you are going to ask that the customer which is the most preferred brand for them. So, these were the example of your comparative scaling. But what is a non-comparative scale? in the non-comparative scaling response need only evaluate the single object, like you are evaluating about the single object or the single variable, and if you talk about the market research, you are evaluating only about the one product, one brand, or about the one properties. So, there is no comparison between the two different brands or the two different variables. There the evaluation is independent of the other object which the researcher is studying, means there is no relation between the one variable with the one product with the other product. Like we initially take the example of your cold drink industry, two important brand like your Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You want to know that because they have the similar prices, you cannot compare on the prices because both the brand have the somewhat same prices. So, you won't try to understand the why the customer is picking one brand more to the other brand, or you will try to understand that which brand is customer preferring more. So, here you can compare between the two, but what happen when it is comparing only one brand? They want to understand about the customer perception about the Pepsi. So, if they want to study that the how the customer is feeling about Pepsi as a brand and how much they like the product of that particular brand, are they satisfied with their brand and values. You talk about if you talk about the cold drink industry, and what will the possible variables for it, like your taste, price, then number of the segment in those brand, then the size, availability. So, you want to study about the one particular brand, then it maybe comes under your non-comparative scaling. And non-comparative scaling, as we see, have the further divided into the continuous rating scale and your itemized rating scale. Then non-comparative scaling, this is your continuous rating scale. So, what is a basically continuous rating scale? It is a very simple and highly useful. In the continuous rating scale, the responses rate the object by placing the mark at the appropriate position on the continuous line. Means you have given the responses on a continuous line, and there will be two poles of that line. One is a positive extreme and other may be the negatively extreme, and you have to choose between those lines. So, these are the basically your continuous rating scale, and in this what we have to do, that when we choose the option which is run from one extreme, like here the example is given, strongly agree, with the other extreme, strongly disagree. Take an example, like you would like to rate the TV advertisement as a guide of your buying, means how much product you buy by seeing the TV advertisement. Suppose there is a type A, like if you take the type A is for your toothpaste brand. So, did you buy the toothpaste by watching the TV commercial or not? If you purchase your toothpaste by watching the TV commercial, and you will say that you will more toward post a response more towards the strongly agreed. If you most of the time buy the product by watching the TV commercial, then you can take over here. And suppose if you did not purchase the toothpaste by watching the TV commercial, then you can take over here or somewhat near your strongly disagreed. Take another example, like your cosmetics. Most of the people buy cosmetics by watching the TV commercial. If they ask you, do you buy the cosmetic by watching the TV commercial, and if you actually purchase the product by watching the TV commercial, then you can put your response towards the strongly agreed. The strongly agreed is now here. So, if you agreed, then you can post your response nearby strongly agreed, and if you did not purchase a cosmetic brand by watching the TV commercial, then you put your response over nearby your strongly disagree. Suppose this place. So, these were the example of your continuous rating scale. Then other is your itemized rating scale. The itemized rating scale is having the numbers of the brief description associated with the each category. In the continuous scale, you will have the 2 poles and you can put your response the pole which you like. But in the itemized rating scale, you will get the different description and you get the different associated with the different category, means the responses which you have to choose have the different category. You will get the different responses. You cannot have to choose on the scale. Then the categories are ordered in term of scales, position and responses are required to select one of the limited number of the category that best describe your product, your brand, your company, and the product attitude will be rated, means whatever the product you are going to have and how you rate that product. And it is widely used in marketing. You have seen in the marketing research like the type of your Likert scale, semantic differentiation scale and your staple scale. The Likert scale is the most widely used scale in a research, and in the Likert scale you have the example, it may be the 5-point Likert scale, it may be the 3-point Likert scale, it may be the 7-point Likert scale, but most of the time most important Likert scale which is widely used is your 5-point Likert scale. So, they may have the 5 responses. Likert scale in you may get the 5 response like you are strongly agree, your response is neutral, you are disagree, or you are strongly disagree. So, here what has happened, you will get the 5 different responses and you will select the responses depends on the what is your attitude, belief and what of the question is asked from you. So, these are your itemized rating scale. Take an example, there is a few example of your itemized rating scale. The some example is your graphic rating scale. If suppose you have seen the responses is there is a emojis, means you have to select the emojis, means if that is a laughing face, it means you are agreed, you like it. If you have a choose the unfavorable face, means which is not laughing, which look dull, then it means you did not like the product. Or if you are not able to choose, you may choose these type of the symbol. So, these are the example of your graphical rating scale. Here also you will get the different category, different responses, and in these responses you have to select, and these responses called the items. So, you have to select between the different items. The one or example like completely satisfied, somewhat satisfied, neither satisfied, somewhat dissatisfied or not dissatisfied. These are your verbal scale, but sometimes we use the numeric scale also, means you have to rate the product from 1 to 10 or from -5 to the +5. So, every option which you have choose, that is a one item. Suppose you like the product, you may choose between your positive response. If you do not like, then you will choose a response from the negative options. So, if you see, these were your example of your itemized rating scale, and we will see the further in this. Take one more example to understand. Suppose you have the product, we visited the number of the shops and they ask you to rate your experience, like you are visiting the restaurant. So, sometimes the restaurant want to understand are my customer satisfied with our service or not. So, they ask you to rate their service on the 1 to 10 scale, means how would you rate it? 1 means they may give you the option that 1 means you are don't extremely dissatisfied, or 10 means you are highly satisfied. So, you have to rate the product on 1 to 10 scale. So, this is also the example of your itemized rating scale. So, today we have completed about your attitude, your basic of the scaling, the type of the scaling techniques like your continuous rating scale, itemized rating scale, then we talk about the comparative rating scale, non-comparative rating scale, and in the further class we are going to discuss all the types of the rating scales which we have shown today. So, for this is all for the day. Thank you everyone.